Student interaction is something that most teachers would agree is an important part of a classroom, and it can take on many different forms. This is a tutorial on grade level student tech use expectations and teacher practices that focuses on how students can be interactive and collaborative in writing and making projects using digital tools. This is based off the Common Core standards and National Educational Technology Standards for students. So we want students to be able to do these things, but it's not always easy to know how to set that up or the best mode to do that. This tutorial will focus on the 9th through 12th grade band. If I click on that and go down to the 9th grade, you can see that the standards call for students to use technology to produce and publish writing and projects, as well as to interact and collaborate with others, including linking to information, displaying in dynamic ways. That last part is the key difference between 8th and 9th grade. So students are expected to provide hyperlinks and be dynamic. So students are expected to include hyperlinks and be able to link out to other information. So for all high school grade levels, the expectation is the same, only that the task and the level of student work should be more complex and more rigorous as they go on. This tutorial will focus on how to use Google Docs to achieve that standard. To get to your Google Drive, simply log into your Google account. Typically it'll be your Gmail account using whatever login name and password that you have, and you'll see this black bar from your Mail application. If you click on the Drive option, it will take you to your Google Drive directory, and you can access all of your files as well as starting to create within your Google Drive. Click the Create button. You have all of these options. We're just going to look at a simple document. So when a student opens that, the first thing they're going to want to do is title the document. Call this one Test. Once they do that, then they can set the share permissions. So clicking Share opens up this window, and then you would direct students to invite the people who they want to collaborate on their project. Once you or they have entered all the people in who they want to invite, they can click this drop down over here and choose which level of permissions they want. If it's just a writing assignment where you want students to comment on each other's work, you can have them comment. If you want them to collaborate and create something together, then you'd want to have them edit, and then leave the notify via email checked so that they will know that it was shared with them. You can also set the settings up here. If you click Change, choose anyone with one of these options. So if you want to make it very public, you choose anyone with a link can comment. Then that student could share the link with anyone and get comments. Once the sharing permissions have been set, Google Docs functions like most other text editors. So when you type, you can adjust the font, size, bold, italics, so on and so forth. You can play around with these features. I'm not going to spend the time to look at all of them. But for publishing, you often want to add different media, which can involve images. So if you go to Tools and Research, it will pop open this research bar, and you can select Images and then search. So if I type puppies, it gives me all these puppy images, and I can scroll through and then drag over the image I want, and then that image will show up on my document along with a footnote that tells me where the source came from. If I choose fixed position, I can move it anywhere on the document. If it's in line with text, then I can type alongside of it, and it's a little more stable. Now for commenting, for students to interact and engage with each other, it's pretty simple. If I have this text and I want to make a comment somewhere, I can just click on it, right click, and insert comment. Then you can see over here I can type in my whatever it is I want to give for feedback, bad spelling in this case, and when I click comment, and that comment will show and it'll be indicated by a highlight. So when you click on the highlighted part, this becomes more prominent, and when you click off, it switches. So as a student, if I come in here and want to reply to this comment, so let's say on the other student, I might say it was intentional. Once that is set and I no longer need that comment, I can click resolve and it goes up into this comment bar here, so I can always see a history of the comments and doesn't always have to reside in this area. Now in high school, students are expected to display information dynamically, including linking to other information. So the easiest way to do that is to provide hyperlinks. In order to provide hyperlinks, students are going to need to first find a source of information that they want to link to. So if they're looking for additional information for their viewers to look at, if the viewer is so inclined, they can just type in a search term, try to find a link to something that enhances or adds to their topic. Let's say it's the Dog Story Theater. Be weird if it was, but once you have that, you can copy that link and then go back to your document, and there's a few different ways to make that link. You could just paste it and there's that link, but that's not very descriptive. A better way to do it would be to type the words that you want the reader to read. So you might type, here is a story about dogs, and then type the word link. That's one way to do it. Then when you highlight the word that you want to link, you can go up here and click insert link or hit Control K, and when you do that, you can just paste the link into this space. Up here you can change the text to display if you want, and when you click OK, then that now becomes a link to that site. So students are expected to be able to do that in meaningful and logical ways that are easy for the person viewing the site to follow. So that is how that is done, and thank you for listening. Now for publishing, there are a number of options that students have. They can go to File and Publish to the web if they want to make it live to anyone and then be able to share the link. They could just open up the permissions and then share to anybody they want. Or you as a teacher can organize your students' documents and then publish that in a folder. If you go to your drive and create a folder, and maybe you call it class task, whatever that task may be, then you have this folder and you could take students' documents and put those all in a folder, and then you can share that folder. Let's say you wanted to make it everyone with the link can view it, or maybe just people in Sparta. They can view. You save that, and then you take that link, copy it, and when you share that folder link, it will show up as thumbnails of everything that students did, and it's kind of a nice view, and all the other students would show up here, and then things are published. So that is just one option for setting up students to interact, collaborate, create, and publish. Hopefully this was helpful. Thanks for listening.